Hey everybody, how we doing? Sunnyvale Rejects back in the house with another little video for you. And a little quick video because it's Labor Day weekend and you got better things to do than listen to me talk, like hang out with friends and family. Have some cold beers, give yourself a pat on the back, and think about anything but work. I went to the beach yesterday and it was amazing. It rained, but it didn't change a single thing. It was like being reborn. I prayed, I meditated, and hopefully I'll be a better person for it. Those of you who know me as a booktuber and a poet. I'm also a teacher, and I get asked all the time, about advice on how to get reluctant readers to give books a chance. Well, I've got a few suggestions today, and hopefully it will help you if you work with students or your husband or boyfriend or a friend that you have doesn't like to read and you're trying to get them into reading. Maybe these things will help, okay? And it's important because the truth is in books. Those powers that be hide the truth in books because they know that people don't read. But once you read a book and can dissect it and deconstruct it, you can apply those tactics to a lot more facets of your life. Conversations, job interviews, essays, that kind of thing if you're applying for college or still in high school, But the point is to, be able to get to the heart of the matter as quickly and efficiently as you can. But it's also about entertaining oneself. And when I'm in a book, I'm in that book. And that's one of the things that I've said that I like about reading the most. It's because when you're in a book, you can't do anything but read. You don't want to read 2 pages, 3 pages, and then realize you don't know what's going on. So the point is to stay inside the book and to get as much from it as you can and to purge all the stuff that you won't use. I recommend a few things. One is you want a book with a really cool cover. And I can't wait to show you these books, You want a book with a really cool cover that feels good and looks good in the hand, that they don't mind being seen reading, And you don't want to have a lot of big, multi-syllabic, archaic words that just trip people up. Like the first classic you read should not be Dostoevsky or Faulkner, maybe Hemingway or something like that. I think it's good if they're part of a series because the reader becomes vested or has a vested interest in the character's life and how the book resolves itself and all that stuff. Also, you want a book with a nice, thick, clean font. Font is important. You don't want the biblical script. Like I've said a few times, you don't want to be looking at a book and feel like you need a telescope or binoculars to zoom in to be able to read it. You want all these boxes to be checked off. It makes for a pleasant, easy on the eye reading, The other thing is you want a book that's entertaining. It has to be entertaining. A page turner, so thrillers, suspense books, horror books really work. And, if they're not thick, they're page turners, right? So if they're not too thick, the reluctant reader is seeing their bookmark make progress through the book, right? And they're like, I can do this. It's no problem. And with the thick font and the small chapters, you'll see that it's not daunting to them. They look at it and they say, I can do this. That's why I teach a lot of poetry. And I still teach things like The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, some Fear Street, because I'm looking for them to deconstruct the piece and to use figurative language to in their responses, but also be able to identify it, and punctuation, not just commas, semicolons, em-dashes, but capital letters, proper nouns versus common nouns, all kinds of stuff like that. Let me shut up. We're going to start with middle grade, and we're going to work our way through young adult, and then an adult horror novel that you should be capable of reading if you follow this trajectory. Here we go. Starting with middle grade. This is a 4-book series. It's Frightville. I've talked about this before. These are the 2 best ones. I just finished reading book 4. And, a couple of these books aren't too effective, but I do see an arc in it, and it does up the ante with each book. And there's some diversity. There's a Spanish family that uses code switching. There's a Swedish family. There's a little boy in a wheelchair. These books are inviting and inclusive, and hey, it's a nice picture of the real world, right? But the Frightville books, this is about a haunted dollhouse, so to speak, and this is about a set of those teeth, those mechanical teeth that you write a wish and feed it to it, and the wish becomes true. But just like with every wish-granting service, you must be very specific or shenanigans ensue. So that's Frightville. That's 2 out of the 4. This is another phenomenal series. This is a step up. This is middle grade still, but this is a step up. These kids are put into a little bit more serious situations. They have to make tough choices. One takes place at a carnival, which is a great setting. The other takes place at camp, which is a common trope through middle grade and YA, right? But this is a 4-book series. I like these 2 the best. And It says, get your ticket now to Carnival. And again, look, it looks good, right? It looks good. It looks good. Small chapters. I did this with my poetry book. I kind of mimicked Sylvia Plath's book. I can't remember the name of it now, but I did because I liked this. Again, because it's like, it reads like a novel. It comes down half the page to begin the chapter, and it just doesn't look daunting. It looks easy to read. My students would say, that's nothing. I can read that, and they'll give it a chance. And as long as the content in the book is good, they're like, damn, the font looks good. It's easy to read. It's small portions at a time so that you can process it. Cool cover, you know. When Ben and his younger brother Kit are sent to spend Halloween with their Aunt Winnie, who runs an old manor nursing home, they're expecting a boring holiday, but then a strange autumn carnival rolls into town offering them spooky thrills and mysterious delights. And then all hell breaks loose. Autumn carnivals, a common trope, like I said, and one that Ray Bradbury probably does best. So that's Monster Street. Give that to your kid, man, or your student, or your friend, and it's fun and playful, and it brings back a lot of nostalgic feelings. What kind of POS would I be if I didn't mention a Goosebumps book? I loved this one. It's got a badass cover, and you will love it too. Hundreds of Goosebumps books, part of a series where they're like, damn, you know, you feel like you're part of the town. Like if you're reading Fear Street, you're part of Shady Side, you know. Same characters, same pizza place, same record store, same school. And you just get enveloped by it all. All right, so every picture tells a story. Greg thinks there is something wrong with the old camera he found. The photographs keep turning out different. When Greg takes a shot of his father's brand new car, it's wrecked in the picture, and then his dad crashes the car, nearly totaling it. You get where I'm going. And again, look at this. And I don't care who you are, man. You want to be able to read the damn book. It's like music. I like good music. I really do. And I gotta like the lyrics first. Then I gotta like the lead singer's voice. And then technically it has to be great. I don't just listen to BS. But you know how some rappers, some rock stars will sing and then they gotta cram words at the end because the lyrics are too big for the bars, you know, or the line. And it just, you're like, dude, if it wasn't for that. Well, that's how I feel about small print. If you got to print 500 pages and still use a tiny print, maybe it should be edited down a little bit. Goosebumps. Give it a shot. Your 45-year-old boyfriend or husband will love it. So will your 6-year-old. Step up from Goosebumps, in my opinion. Shivers. Ghosts of Camp Massacre. And there we go again with the camp trope. Beautiful books. Getting harder and harder to find. Really original covers. I mean, really, these are spooky. They look great if you collect. If you're seen in public reading it, people might come up to you. It could be an icebreaker. Hey, man, what is that? They stand out. You can see them behind me. They even stand out on my bookshelf. Shivers by M.D. Spencer. This is, I'd be lying if I said for sure, but it's either 32 or 36 books, and they are all good. I'm missing like 3, I think, and every single one I've read has sparked those nostalgic feelings that we all long for and miss. And I'm always real careful with these books. I don't want anything to happen to these. This is an important part of my collection. Not a ghost of a chance, he says. This was to be a way cool week at Camp Willy Waha. For Samantha and her little brother Rex, the pest. Suddenly Samantha, who scares so easily everyone calls her spooky, senses strange vibrations zooming through the camp. And again, yes, you already know. That's right. Shenanigans. Okay, a step up from that. Now we're into some YA stuff. This next book, after the one I'm going to show you, might be considered middle grade, but I think anybody can read it, and it's very spooky. But we're going to start with this one. It's The Boyfriend by R.L. Stein. She just toyed with Dex. She didn't care about his feelings. Boys don't matter. But Dex loved her from beyond the grave. And guess what, baby? My boyfriend's back. He's pissed. Yes, as Cameron Chaney said, this is a trash masterpiece. It is a beautiful, wonderful, awkward, silly book. Sometimes love is murder. Too bad about Dex. He was in love with Joanna. She broke up with him, and then he died. Sounds pretty cut and dry, right? Point hard. This is all embossed. Cool cover. Again, your 50-year-old neighbor will love it. Your 12th grade student will love it. You can do little exercises where you read this page here, right here. You know, it's the very first page, and it's like an attention grabber. It's like, man, I've got to find this excerpt somewhere in the book and read it and find out where this came from and what happened. Well, I let them read this, or I read it to them, really, and I get all into it, man. And I say, okay, finish the story. Tell me what happens next. And they're writing creatively for me. Meanwhile, I'm looking at capitalization, punctuation, transition from paragraph to paragraph. And I'm manipulating the assignments for them. I don't care what they read. I want to see the work. I want to see that they're breaking it down and processing it and understanding it and can articulate that and make it accessible to others. Shutting up. Spine shivers. Again, cool ass book. You could be riding a Harley. You could be in a biker gang. And this is okay if you're seen at a bar drinking this book. It's got a glossary at the bottom. It's got a glossary at the back. It's got discussion questions and writing prompts. It's perfect for the classroom setting or for your child at home. Maybe you homeschool your kid. Get them to write. Get them to read. They'll figure out later in life what's important and what's not. But they'll have the foundation. What's it about, you ask? I can't wait to tell you. While babysitting his twin cousins one stormy night, Hamid Abdi sees an alert that a prisoner is on the loose nearby. He doesn't think much of it until the twins tell him that a man dressed as a clown has been coming into their bedroom. Look, when you come to me with that, don't let it be the second or third time. Okay? The first time you see a clown anywhere near my house, let a brother know. This is a wonderful, wonderful Fear Street book. Very playful and kind of interactive for the reader. It's really engaging. There's a part 2 as well. Not only is it part of the Fear Street series, but there's a part 2. And everybody that I get to read Fear Street, I either get them to read is it The Boy Next Door? I think it's The Boy Next Door, or this book, because it just really gets them. It's the wrong number. It starts as an innocent prank. Oh boy, how'd it end though? Okay, now we're really taking it up a notch. And this is YA, but definitely I know a lot of adult readers that read Stephen King, Dean Koontz, John Saul. They love these books, and this was the first one I read. You've seen it before, but I loved it. It's Boy Crazy. It's Terror Academy. Nicholas Pines. Boy Crazy. Let me see if I can recall some of this. The girl's name, what's her name? Okay, Shannon Riley. She's a transfer student, and she goes to this school, and it's called Central Academy, right? And she's trying to fit in and all this, and she's got a brother, and, they're good kids. They're going through some stuff. I think maybe their mom is out of the picture. Maybe she passed away. And some kids bully her brother. This is just one thing that happens. And they leave him with a head injury to where he is mentally and physically handicapped now, if that's the proper term. But he's handicapped now, slurs his speech, can't hardly walk, can't hardly talk. And so this girl, Shannon Riley, goes on a rampage to pay these fools back that hurt her brother. The tragedy, the horror, there's gun violence in this, there's knife play. It goes a little bit deeper than Fear Street for sure. I think this addresses like lower class struggles, whether you're black or white or Hispanic or Asian. Hell, everybody can relate to that, man. Everybody can relate to the struggle. This one really pulls it out, doesn't take it easy on the reader, and you're forced to ask yourself some big-time questions. So this is a step up, right? It's Boy Crazy by Nicholas Pine. It's part of Terror Academy, and it's part of the series, too. Somebody write in the comments how many books there are. I have a few behind me. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have 10 books total. I'm missing a couple. They'll love it. Okay, so now that you've gone through the Fear Streets, the Spine Shivers, R.L. Stine, and Boy Crazy, now you're ready to take it up a notch. A thicker book, a little bit smaller font, more characters in the story that you have to keep track of, and there's a moral here. There's probably some political issues addressed too. It's Clown in a Cornfield. Yeah, I've heard mixed reviews on part two and part 3. You guys tell me. I really don't know because I haven't read it. Some people say the sequels ruined part 1. Part 1 was amazing. I didn't think I was going to like it, but I read it probably in like 3 days. I don't know if I brought this up actually. Because when I first started doing this, I read all the time, and It really wasn't about talking about every book I read, but now I'm engaged in the community, and I'm hearing such wonderful comments that I'm more engaged with you guys, and I'm more actively talking about the things that are going on behind the scenes, you know. And thank you guys for that, for bringing that out in me. But Plowing in a Cornfield was a great book by Adam Cesar. If I'm not mistaken, he's a booktuber as well with a hell of a great channel. I'm pretty sure I saw that first. And when I got into this genre, this was one of the first books that I bought, if not the very first one. The second was probably like Point Horror, Sinclair Smith, something like that. But I loved this. I loved the way it felt. I'll read it. The blurb on the back makes the book sound really intriguing. And it was the winner of the 2020 Bram Stoker Award for Superior Achievement in Young Adult Novel. Quinn Maybrook just wants to make it to graduation, but she might not make it to morning. When Quinn and her father moved to a tiny town with a weird clown for a mascot, they were looking for a fresh start. But ever since the town's only factory shut down, Kettle Springs has been cracked in half. And that means a lot of things in this book. Font's a little bit smaller. It's got a bunch more pages. Let's see, like 346. I think there's a epilogue. 340 something, right? And there's a sneak peek at part 2. But once you finish this, you have accomplished something. I mean, damn, it's about the size of Invisible Man by Ralph Ellison. But you'll feel like you've accomplished something. You've worked your way up. And now you're ready for a Stephen King, a Dean Koontz, a John Saul, or perhaps a Rick Altala. Love him or hate him, prolific writer Rick Altala has been shocking audiences for quite some time. Shades of Night, funky-ass, cool, psychedelic-looking, spooky cover, silver, shiny, reflective, embossed title and author name here. The spine is super cool with the pink. Yeah, man, when you start this, you're going to feel like, I can do it. I've worked my way up here this far. I can get through this. And then anything you want to read will be within your grasp. You can then move on to a Crime and Punishment or a Faulkner or a Leo Tolstoy or something like that. But if you enjoy what you're reading, keep reading that. Read the wrong book at the wrong time and you'll never want to read again. But let me shut my mouth and tell you what it's about. The Colors of Fear. And I like that in blue. From the moment she and Vincent move into their new home in Maine, Laura DeSalvo is tormented by killer migraines and eerie visions. A young woman with a pale face and glowing eyes who warns of an unnameable danger. Her mother, damning her soul from beyond the grave. A looming, shadowy man pursuing her through rooms she's never even set foot in. Sounds amazing, doesn't it? That's Rick Altala. You deserve it, baby. Crack yourself open a beer. Get you an ice-cold Coca-Cola, or maybe throw some whiskey in there. Sit by a window. Be at peace. Read a kick-ass book. And know that you can do it. You might even be able to write one. And that's a lot more fun, I promise you. I'm shutting up. You have a lot better things to do. You guys are so cool. Thanks for everything. Leave me a comment, and if you like what I'm doing, like and subscribe. Get out there and enjoy the weekend.